So how do we actually set boundaries without feeling guilty? How do we protect our time and energy and peace while still showing up for the people we love? Today, I'm joined by the amazing Mais Mohammed, a celebrated life coach, media personality, and a boundary expert who has made it her life's mission to help high-achieving human beings reclaim their self-freedom. So whether you're struggling with saying the word no at work or in your relationship or even with yourself, then this conversation is going to give you the tools to set boundaries with confidence and clarity. So without further ado, let's get into it. Mace, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining me here today.
It's my ultimate pleasure.
Honestly, I feel like I've been, you know, when you are a fangirl scrolling through your page, that's me in the background. I'm constantly looking, and your advice and your words and everything that you put out there, I feel are so, in a world where you've got so much other things, the level of authenticity that you bring was something that I was just like, fingers crossed, she is going to respond to my random DM to see if she would actually come on. So I really appreciate you being here.
That means the world to me, honestly.
Really, thank you so much.
That means the world.
We're talking about boundaries today.
Yes.
Something that I think there's not a single person on the planet, especially women, that doesn't have trouble with that.
True.
And I think that it's to be able to kind of dissect it and really get into the reason why we're having issues. I think that's going to be really beneficial for so many.
Oh, I agree. That's such a beautiful topic, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's something that everybody struggles with.
Yeah. I don't think not even just women. I think men as well.
Men, yes.
Yeah.
Men.
Just everybody in general.
Even kids.
Oh, definitely. They push all boundaries, but I don't know if they have any boundaries left
Exactly.
in them to actually hold. But for those who have just clicked on, and obviously either because obviously they follow you and they love the work that you do, or the topic of conversation has potentially struck a nerve, what is it that you do? What is your sort of mission, the mission that you're on every day, and what kind of message are you sort of putting out into the world?
So mainly what I always say is, or what at least I try to preach on a daily basis and show people in hopes that they actually get to this way of living and thinking, is living in the now and living the moment. And I always say it, عيش اللحظة, live the moment, live in the now. Because ultimate peace happens when you live in the present moment. When you're not living in the past, you become a prisoner of the past. Or you have anxiety of the future. Is it going to work out? Is it not? Am I on time? Am I not on time? Am I going to get there? It's just exhausting. But when you live in the now, that's where ultimate peace comes. Because you're focused on that moment. There is no past. There is no future. There is only the now.
True.
But it's the concept of clinging on to memories or fearing what's to come. That's what's ruining us. So it's just that little detail that needs a little practice of living in this moment. Be it good or bad. It's just a moment. And this too shall pass to a different moment.
This too shall pass.
Yeah. So mainly this is like in a nutshell what the message I'm trying and in so many different videos. Yeah.
It's true. Because I feel like that living in the moment, as much as we say it, it's a lot harder to actually do it.
Yeah.
And I think, to be present moment, especially in uncomfortable moments, I think that's where people kind of drop off and think, no, I want it to just quickly go. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to go through it. I just want to numb it potentially. Yeah. And I think that's where you lose track of this whole living the moment, taking whatever the day has sort of brought to your lap or your plate.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not only the negative ones. It's even the beautiful moments that they get to live. They don't enjoy the beauty of it.
It's true.
They're anxious that, I wish I was spending it with someone, for the ones that don't have someone in their life. So they're living this beautiful moment full of joy and happiness. It's like, I wish I had someone here with me. Or, oh my God, my battery is on low. I can't post this on social media. Or, you're not in the moment. You're not there. There means being there. And that's a beautiful moment. So they even ruin that.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's not a moment unless you've taken a photo of it, kind of thing.
Kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
take a
Take a
visual.
mental one, remember it and
Yeah, a
savor
mental
it.
photo. Yeah.
Yeah. And who is Mace?
Oh, I love that question.
Who are you in all of your glory?
I'm joy. I am a messenger. I am love and I am care. I am no label. I don't labelize myself as anything. You can give people many labels: life coach, entrepreneur, whatever you want to label. But these are just names.
Mm-hmm.
And my true essence is what I'm born here to do, my purpose. And everybody has a purpose. So I feel like what I feel like my purpose is to create an impact of change through my messages, through my knowledge, which I haven't created. My knowledge is from what I've learned from past generations as well, passed down, including my experiences in life, merge them together. And I feel like my purpose was my voice. So this is why I feel like I'm here. But who am I in a nutshell? I'm all of these emotions.
I love that. I mean, essentially, isn't that your human identity?
Yeah.
You are an array of the emotional makeup. And that's what you essentially put out into the world before all of the earned labels and the labels that society has given you and what that person had, sort of described you as. You are just a walking, talking, almost vessel of emotions.
Exactly.
I love that.
I love this. It's a vessel of emotions. That is very true.
Yeah, because I mean, that's at your core. That's who you are.
That's who you are.
That's who you are. There's nothing else. So you weren't born an entrepreneur. You weren't born, a life coach. You weren't born a podcaster or anything like that. But you were born with raw emotion.
Yeah.
And to be able to kind of claim that, even in adult, honestly, that's amazing.
It is everyone. We are souls having a human body experience. So it's who's Mace is, who's my soul, and I resonate with love the most. I feel like every person's soul has an emotion they resonate with, but I feel like love is medicine for all. So
it's so true.
Yeah.
And it's not to be cheesy, but it's true. That's all you need.
Yeah.
You just need love.
That's it.
If there was more love, I would say
world would be great.
The majority, every single problem would have been solved. If love came before any other emotion or any other way of reasoning and being that on the forefront, we wouldn't have any of these issues.
100%.
So I love love.
I know we all love love.
We all love. We'll just give each other a little air hug. Obviously, sitting across from you, I mean, I even said it before we turned on the cameras, you've got this aura, this presence about you. It's confidence, it's compassion, it's empathy. It's also quite, you know what you're doing. You seem quite headstrong about your path and your journey. And because I've done a lot of research about you, I know that you've been on a journey, and a sort of one that's quite extensive. Do you think that has obviously had a massive impact on the woman today?
Of course, everything has an impact. I mean, be it small or very hard, tough moments. It's what shapes our character. It's what makes us who we are today. But it's what you do with these moments that make the biggest difference. Through my journey, I mean, a lot of people went through the same journey. There's a lot of cancer patients that went through this, but their outcome as characters are very different. The way they started seeing life is very negative. They became very depressed. They became very weak. Some didn't make it. Some didn't manage to fight it, and some came out blossoming as flowers. So each person reacts very differently to the problems they have in their life. I used all my knowledge and I applied it in this journey, which is why I said I'm not going to see any clients that year. The only client I'm seeing is Mace.
When were you diagnosed?
2020 or 2021? 2020.
2020. Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
With COVID. Yeah, so it was a nice combo. Yeah, it was a very interesting year. It was like I was asking God, like, what else do you have? Like, what kind of experiment is this? You know, like it was a lot of slaps after each other. First health, then money, then work, then everything just, you know, it came after each other. It was quite exhausting, but I was up for the challenge. To me, it was a challenge. To me is, how am I going to turn this painful moment into something that is joyful? And that was the challenge. So I did, even before my surgery, I made sure to do parties. I made sure to play music. I made sure that always positive vibes were there. So that was my main goal, that regardless how bad this moment was, I would always find that open door and window to make it fun, even if that fun lasted few minutes. But joy had to be there. Like I refused for anything to block joy or love out of it. So I might sound crazy, but I kind of treated this illness with love and joy. And I kind of had a relationship with the tumor. I named her Siri. Do not ask me why. Apologies to Siri.
Cancer.
Yeah, I don't know why. I can't remember the reason why I named her Siri at the time. But me and Siri became friends, you know, and I've realized that with love, you can solve everything. You don't need to fight things. Sometimes love can be the cure. So I decided to love and accept myself and accept Siri for being there, you know, because she's there for a reason. She's there to tell me something. And it was my job to find out what it was she was trying to tell me. You know, unsolved traumas, something I was missing out on, because your body speaks to you at the end of the day. So that was something that I had that changed my perception towards many things. How to let go, how to become stronger in very, very painful moments. Physical pain, I'm talking, not mental. So yeah, it shaped me in a very big way.
Hearing you say that, I don't know how, I mean, were you, this was a active way of sort of being able to cope with a situation. So you had to actively permit that. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know how you did that.
It was a mental workout, like a gym every day.
Yeah.
Every day I would wake up and I would mentally go to the gym.
I can imagine.
So yeah, I would train my mind. It was
to,
hard, but
absolutely. And if you were to think about maybe somebody else or somebody else in that situation, it would be quite difficult to get up and again face something that could potentially be quite devastating with love. It's not easy.
It isn't, but it's at the end of the day, your belief and how you resonate with it. Gratitude is the key. So being grateful and having gratitude is the key that can lead you to dealing with things with love.
Yeah.
So when I used to wake up in the morning and I'd be able to get out of bed, I'd be like, oh, wow, I can get up.
Yeah.
You know?
It's almost like one win.
Yeah, I won. I won today.
Yeah.
You know, I walked on my own today. You know, I'm able to see my messages and carry my phone and reply to my friends. You know, that's another win today. So being grateful for what you currently have rather than focusing on what you're losing is the small, like it's a little tweak, but it makes the biggest difference.
Absolutely.
So that gym, that mental gym that I'm talking about, is shifting focus. No matter how much pain there is, shifting the focus from the pain and looking at what I already have that brings me pleasure. That helps a lot. It helps a lot. It's not about keeping yourself busy. It's about shifting your focus. So you're not in denial. And the minute you shift your focus and you get this feeling of gratitude and joy and love, and simultaneously you look at your issue and you face it with love. You build a relationship with it. When I say face it with love, it's trying to understand why it's there.
Yeah.
Everything happens to a person for a reason. Nothing's a coincidence. You know, nothing happens by accident.
No.
It happens for a reason. This is something I personally believe in. Some people might say, no, you know, it happened by coincidence. There's accidents that happen. I personally believe, and it doesn't have to be everybody's belief. Even a car accident happens for a reason. You know, it's a delay for you not to be somewhere else.
That's true.
It could be something worse, you know, and some people get into horrible accidents, you know, where they end up in coma or they end up killing someone or whatever it is.
It's
And
funny you say that. I've been in a car accident when I was younger.
yeah,
And I've got a permanent scar on
yeah,
my forehead. And I always used to sit there and think to myself, why? I was quite young. What was the reason behind this? I still don't really know, but there is a level of acceptance
yes,
that went into it. And now, you slowly start to look at who you are and what happened to you, and look at, for example, my forehead or my face, and
yeah,
start to love it,
yes,
every little bit of it, no matter how flawed you used to think it was.
yeah.
And I think I think it also comes with a bit of age. I don't know. I think
It's acceptance.
it is
It's understanding
acceptance.
that every scar in your body is a reminder of your strength.
Yeah.
It's a reminder of what you've been through. It's a reminder of your character, who you are today. I mean, that accident, for example, that you've been to that caused a scar in you, it could have been worse. It could have been brain damage. It could have
Absolutely. It could have
been
been, it goes down to my
blinded,
eye.
It could
Yeah.
have been so many other things.
Absolutely.
But it was that. And even though that was painful,
Yeah.
it's not something, I'm not minimizing it or simplifying
No.
it. It was also painful, but it could have been worse. So why did it happen? There's always a good reason. It's not for you to know, Not
And that's the
everything is for
thing.
us to know.
It's not for you to know.
No,
But it's almost
accepting.
accepting that it happened
For a good reason.
for a good reason, and trying your best to find that gratitude.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's definitely a hard one. And I think
Really, it's just about the belief. Like
Yeah.
today, when people tell me, like I ask people that, they believe in God or a certain religion. And I say, would you change your religion or your faith? No, 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 no. No way. It's a strong belief. It's a core value. And I said, if you believe in religion so much, do you realize the impact of beliefs in your life? So when you believe that this happens for a good reason, the same way you believe in your religion, that's your peace.
that's it.
So all you need to do is believe. And if you do believe in religion, you should believe it happens for a good reason, because that's the
100%.
basis of all religions.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter what religion you come from.
Absolutely. And it's almost believe that things were written down for you for these whatever
Exactly.
experiences in your life are going to happen.
Yeah.
But you don't need to potentially question them.
No question asked. I mean, you can't question a spirit, can you?
No.
You believe in something you can't see.
Yeah.
So
you've got the capability.
You've got the capability.
Yeah.
So when people say, I can't do it, I'm like, but you're already doing it. Don't you believe in something that you don't see, you don't touch, you don't hear? Well, if you're capable of doing it and you're not willing to change it one bit, and you're so attached to it, that means you're capable of doing that, and it's not hard.
Absolutely.
It's just that society made us believe that change is hard. But change is actually so much easier than you think it is.
Limiting
beliefs. Yeah.
This limiting beliefs, I think we've been ingrained in society, in all societies.
Yeah.
I'm not even one particular society. Limiting beliefs, I think, are a human phenomenon.
Yeah.
And I don't understand where it came from. Is it because this is the way to kind of keep people in a potential level or a box, or have the world move according to some sort of higher order? I don't know, but it's an incredible thing, limiting beliefs. And
I mean, at the end of the day, limiting beliefs is not done by people. It's impacted by people. It's done by us. So we can't really blame people for limiting beliefs.
So take accountability.
100% take accountability. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
It's people's opinion become your own belief, but it's not their opinion. It's you allowing their opinion to become your own belief. So that's the trick. It's like they can talk all they want, but when the minute you make it your belief, that's on you.
It's true.
So that's why when you say respect other people's opinion, it means it's theirs to respect, not to take and apply on yourself.
Except that it's theirs.
Yeah, like
it's
just keep it there.
Absolutely. And this could be anybody. Your mother, your father, your sister,
Everyone.
your husband, your boyfriend. It doesn't matter. That's
doesn't
their opinion. It's not yours.
Yeah.
This is a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Boundaries
is
today's sort of main focus. And I think you marry sort of Eastern culture and sort of modern concepts so beautifully. And boundaries, I feel you tackle them really incredibly as well. So after sort of throughout your life and all of your experiences, and with your countless clients, What would you say is the biggest misconception about boundaries that we hear often?
The biggest misconception I would say is that the hardest thing is saying no, when it's the most hypocritical sentence I've ever heard. Because with every yes you say, you're actually saying 100 no's. And with every no, you're saying 100 yeses. And what I mean by that is when you say, yes, sure, I'll have that cup of coffee, and you're dying from how tired you are, you're exhausted, you don't have the time. What are you saying no to? You're saying no to yourself, you're saying no to your well-being, you're saying no to your own peace of mind, you're saying no to many things. Why do I say it's very hypocritical? Because you're telling me that it's so hard to say no, but you made it so easy to say no to yourself. And when you say no, I'm sorry, I can't, I'm tired, what are you saying yes to? You're saying 100 yeses to your peace of mind, your well-being. And this is not being selfish. This is you being able to adapt, and I wouldn't say adapt is the word, I would say capable of dealing with people in a sane manner when your well-being is okay. Your state of mind is everything. What's the point of going somewhere exhausted? I'm giving as an example.
Yep.
It's not always the case, but not in your 100% state of mind, which is a good state of mind, and sitting in that environment, stepping on yourself. You're not going to be giving your 100%. You're going to be actually 50 or 20% of your energy is going to be given to whatever it is the environment is, whether it be at work or social life or relationship, whatever it is,
yeah.
which will end up giving you negative results.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is the biggest misconception, that when you say no to something, when you say yes to something, you're actually saying no to many other things simultaneously. So there's no such thing as it's hard to say no, because you're easily doing it.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so, so true. And I feel like saying no and saying yes, do you think that that has a lot to do with, I guess I feel, again, I'm going to talk about women, and they tend to err on the more of a people pleaser. Do you think that has, again, sort of a hand-in-hand relationship with the ability to say no or setting boundaries?
Yes, of course, 100%. I mean, it's based on fear. Fear of acceptance, fear of judgment. Fear plays a big role in this. I mean, when women, they're scared that they're going to get judged by other women, you know? Like, oh, if I don't go to her house today and she already invited me and I invited her, then what is she going to think about me? So that fear of judgment, you know, even though she's really tired, her kids are running after her, you know, or someone's sick. I mean, she
just needs a moment to herself.
She just needs a moment to herself. Even if, you know, you had invited her and she's giving you the invitation back. Like, these are small, simplest things that make the biggest difference. They fear saying no. Why? Because of the judgment of what is she going to think? Am I going to lose her as a friend? What people need to understand is, if people love you, of a person in front of you as a friend, genuinely loves you, they would not judge you. They will not break a friendship if you refused an invite or 2 or even 3, you know, because they love you for who you are.
It's so true. You don't want to almost have somebody do something at their detriment.
Exactly. So if we really understand the basis of relationships, that the true basis of love, it's not about how many people you know. It's about the quality of people you know, who loves you.
Absolutely.
And you'll only know that is when you say no. You won't know it when you say yes.
Absolutely.
Because you're pleasing them.
You're pleasing everything and everybody.
Except yourself.
I guess the biggest question is, how do you unlearn that? Is it just a matter of actively sort of doing a body check and saying no if it doesn't add value to your life? Is it recognizing that, I don't know, whatever situation or potential, I don't know, events are not going to be in line with something that you believe in? Where are we going wrong here?
It's not about unlearning. You can't unlearn something you know, but you can learn something new that changes what you've known. And that makes the biggest difference. So it's understanding that you are not, even in an airplane, the first thing they show you is the mask. They put it on the mother, then the child, not the child, then the mother. Why? Because you cannot help somebody if you don't help yourself. You're going to break down physically, emotionally. You're going to burn out if you're going to keep pleasing others and your glass is empty. You have nothing to give anymore. This is something people need to understand. They need to learn this. They need to know that I can't give from an empty glass. So how do I fill this glass? Is by prioritizing yourself. It is not called selfishness. It's called self-love.
Well, that's it. That was my other question.
Yeah.
You always hear self-love, but then you always find when somebody is constantly, for example, refusing or saying no, there's an air of selfishness about that person, whether that's in the workplace or in a relationship or whatever you might have it. But there's this selfishness or this negativity that is always around, potentially setting boundaries that are going to benefit you.
The selfishness and self-love are very different.
Yeah.
So when you love yourself, you're incapable of being selfish. Why? Because when you love yourself, first of all, you're putting yourself at a best state of mind that you can be in, which is time management, comfort. And when you love yourself, you also love pleasing others. You love pleasing the people that you love, not random people.
Not random people. Yeah.
Some people feed off the energy of pleasing random people. There is people that are like that. But mainly, you love sharing your love because you have so much of it. So you're not a selfish person. The selfish people, the ones that constantly say no, no, they're just pure selfish right here. This is not self-love anymore. This is me just being selfish. I want to say no to everything and yes to me only. It's not that there's no negativity when it comes to self-love. It's sharing that love. And you feel it anyway from people. You feel the ones that want to support. You feel the one that it reflects on their faces. It reflects on their aura and energy. And the selfish ones, like you said, there is negativity there. Yeah. So there's a huge difference between the two. And it's not a thin line between selfishness and self-love. They are completely different. There's a lot of people who go like, there's a thin line. No, there's not a thin line, my love.
There's no thin line.
There's no thin line. If you love yourself, you would share that love. If you're selfish, you're just pure selfish.
That's true.
It's different.
I think we can all agree that our style changes throughout our lives. The way I dress now is very different to the way I used to dress when I was in my 20s. Our minds change, our body changes, and that is a completely normal fact of life. As all of you know, Wear That Now and this podcast have formed a beautiful partnership, and they are a huge factor in my ever-changing personal style. They make having a personal stylist so easy and so accessible, where your comfort, your style, your budget, and occasion are fully considered when they are selecting your bespoke boxes of looks that go straight to your doorstep. What I love most is their flexibility. If there's an outfit I love, I keep. And if the outfit just doesn't work, I simply return it. So, if you're looking to change up your personal style slightly, but you don't really know where to start, then I urge you to head over to their Instagram account, which is at wear.that.now, and start connecting with your very own personal stylist. To a certain extent as well, I mean, if you are selfish, you are almost hardwired to make sure that everybody knows that there is a selfish element into it. It's so true. But I mean, I think that if you peel back the onion, if you kind of work with self-love and you really self-love and acceptance, you're almost working at the foundation. So you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to put your mask on first. It's that foundation before you can actually care for another person, care for a child, care for a partner, care for your work. But if that is a place of selfishness and there's holes, you can't care for anybody, really. And it's almost like I find when it's in a selfish state, it's almost like a survival mode, as opposed to somebody who's quite fulfilled and attuned with their mind and their body and their soul and what they're actually putting out into the world. I think that's where boundaries get confused. Because, I mean, even when you think about it, as a mother, I have to have certain boundaries, even with my own children, in order for me to be a better parent.
100%.
The same goes for my husband. The same goes with my employer. The same goes with everything, really, with my parents. So if I came from a place of selfishness, I'm going to be kind of almost just in this survival rat race of trying to clutch to whatever I can say no to. And then it's never going to be for myself, nor is it going to be for the other person in front of me. So I find it's, you're right. It's not a thin line at all.
No. That one, like you said, has holes in it.
Yeah.
And self-love is just pure light and fulfillment. So
it's true, because you've tended to yourself.
Yeah.
You've tended to what you need. And I definitely, look, I think, again, I can only speak for myself, but the moment I feel like I've really deprioritized myself, I'm really at the bottom rung of the totem pole, I am not a good person. I don't feel like I give anything good.
You?
Yeah.
Why?
But I'm saying if I haven't.
Okay. I thought you were saying this about yourself. I'm
no,
like,
no,
okay,
no.
What's going on here? This escalated.
No. But if I haven't done what I need to do to recalibrate whatever I need to, set a particular boundary, I've sort of gone back to think, okay, that's kind of giving me a little bit of a negative vibe. I don't really want to do this. I'm not really happy with that decision, things like that. If I haven't kind of looked at and dissected whatever's in front of me and put myself first, if I've just said yes, by the end of the day, I'm a completely different human being to the person who gave myself the space and the time.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's I think, and I find, like you said, saying potentially yes to everything, that could be selfish.
True.
You could potentially say yes to all. Why?
Because you want it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll do the school pickup. Yes, I'm going to attend that. Yes, I'm going to also,
FOMO.
FOMO. I'm going to attend this event. Yes, I'm going to do this at work. Sure, I'll cook a 4-course dinner for my husband. I'm sorry, but no, you can't do that. You're being selfish. And what? Then you're sort of grappling with the sort of the feedback that you're getting from others. And that's where I find boundaries need to be so clear for a person, because you really do need a little reset every now and then. That's my take on the boundary situation. Yeah.
You're right. I mean, I agree with you.
And I just find, let's say, for example, you've got a woman, particularly a woman at work. And again, she's got, let's face it, we live in a patriarchal society. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. It is what it is. And the moment a woman at work is not happy with a particular thing and wants to say no to that task, or no to that meeting, or no, I cannot attend a meeting at 6:30 because I'm bathing my children, for example. She's either going to be placed as quite difficult to deal with, or not a team player, or just I don't want to use the word, but, just a difficult person. How does the woman who's listening to this, who's having that type of issue at work, can handle that?
It's how you say no is the trick. So by simply saying no, I can't, doesn't really help anything. It doesn't help your case. Like saying no, I can't is, even if you put an excuse, I'm bathing the children, gives off, like you said, oh, she's being difficult, all this. So if someone says, listen, we need you for a meeting at 6:30, instead of saying no, I would say, always give 2 options. Can we make it at 8 p.m. or 8:30 instead? Always give 2 options. When you're giving 2 options, you're not saying no. You're changing and you're giving them the option of A and B.
Yeah. Just a straight up no. End of discussion.
So it's kind of saying no, but sure.
Yeah.
Negativity is never taken in well.
Lead with that.
Lead with sure. Let's push it for another hour. I have the children with me right now, but you started with sure. So when you start anything with a no, nobody likes it. I was like, when you say sure and you give options, it's a very tricky, it's a reverse psychology kind of thing. Or psychology, not reverse. It's psychology where you're kind of like opening, where do I sign? Would you like the blue pen or the red pen? It's
That's
like,
how I do.
You're going to sign anyway.
With my kids, you have to put on your shoes, the blue shoe or the white shoe.
Yeah.
You choose.
Yeah. So the option of putting on the shoes is not the one that they're focusing on anymore. They're focusing on which color to choose. And the same applies to how you say no. When you give more options and you're more delicate with your replies, they don't focus on what you said, they focus on the options you give them. So as a woman and as a man, but like you said, because the society we're in, even though I really feel like these days it's really, it's become different. There's a huge change that's happened between
It's come a long way.
Yeah, it's come a long way, honestly. But if we look at it in the sense of how women would deal with it, including men, it's how you say no. There's an art to it. The art of saying no. Is there a book that says that? There should be a book.
I mean, I think so. I mean, I'm sure. But yeah.
If there isn't, we should write one. The art of saying no.
Let's do it. Saying no, and the art of saying no and setting proper boundaries. But it's true. It's the way that you say it. Yeah. If somebody was to ask me something and I just straight up said, absolutely not, no, it does come quite confrontational.
Yeah.
As opposed to, yes, I would love to, if you could just give me an hour and that way I can be completely present.
There you go.
Or something like that.
That's a lovely no.
Yeah, that's how I deal, or at least I try with my children. Like, literally.
Children, I feel like, for me, I mean, I'm not a mom, but I'm talking about the psychology behind it.
Yeah.
I'm with and against at the same time with the way people are raising children today. I'm with the fact that it's more conversational. I'm against the fact that it's too soft. A no should be a no when it comes to kids. Because kids are being programmed by you. So they don't know what's right or wrong. They can't differentiate. So with kids, a solid no is a solid no. There's no negotiation there. It's not, let me try to explain to you so you can understand. It's like, no, bro.
And they're like a 2-year-old.
I will explain, but it's a no, and I feel like that firmness is for them to understand when a no is a no and when a yes is a yes. And to rewire and reprogram their minds in the way that would suit them best.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But that softness with children that I see happening these days is making the child raise the parent rather than the parent raise the child. They're very smart, by the way.
They really are.
They are very smart. Don't underestimate kids.
No, and they watch you like a hawk, so they can really use things that they see against you. So you have to be really careful.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many of us we set the boundary, but it's wobbly?
Yeah, because it's not really set. It's like the intention is there, but it's not set. So my intention is that this is the boundary, but then the minute something happens, I open the doors. It's like, no, what happened to the boundaries? It's hard the first day or the first attempt to put a boundary, but it's really about discipline. It is about discipline.
That's true.
It's like first day of going to the gym. You hate your life. It's so annoying. Or waking up at 5 a.m., to join the 5 a.m. club. It's not fun. No one said it was going to be fun the first day. But the minute you pass the first 3 days, and then it becomes on autopilot. It becomes an addiction, a way of life. Like you feel weird if you don't wake up at 5 a.m. or you feel weird if you don't go to the gym.
Brushing your teeth, going to the gym, having breakfast, like a normal part of the day.
Like a normal part of the day, exactly. So any change at the beginning is uncomfortable because your body is sitting in its comfort zone. It's like, why? Why are we changing? But the minute the change happens, so the first 2-3 days are uncomfortable, but then that's it. You're good to go.
Do you think that there's an element of you really have to believe in that boundary?
Of course. Because if you don't believe in it, it's not going to last.
No.
If you're not, Annie, if you place the boundary because you want for self-love, for example, I'm placing the boundary here because I need to charge myself. If I don't really believe in that, anything that comes along the way is going to push this boundary off. It's about genuinely believing that you need this time to recharge. You need this time to give yourself self-love. You need this time for you. If you don't believe that, then this boundary doesn't exist. It all starts with the belief.
Then if you take it a bit further back, do you think then that has anything to do with the way that we grew up?
100%. Everything happens because of the way we grow up.
Yeah.
It's knowing that, again, the first 7 years of the programming is impacted by the mom, the father, And then if you want to put the nursery in the environment. And then after 7, the conscious awareness kicks in. And then that's when the whole environment plays a big role. The questions, why is this? Why is that? The curiosity kicks in. So how we're raised plays a huge role to who we are today. But that doesn't mean that you can't change who you are today just because you were raised that way or you're programmed that way. Everybody's capable of change, especially if that trait does not suit them. So let's say this child was neglected by the mom or the father. So this child grew up always looking to please the parent. People's pleaser, They usually have a lack of something. That's why they're pleasing others, to fulfill something that's lacked within them. Mm-hmm. And when I say people's pleaser, so people don't get confused, I'm talking about people. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about family.
Yeah.
We all love to please our family member, our child, our bestie, a person or two. I'm not talking about these. People's pleaser are the ones that please everyone.
Yeah.
It's a lack of something.
You're
trying to fill something.
Yeah.
From outside. You can never fill something from the outside. Whatever you do, it doesn't matter if you please 1,000 to 100,000 people. If you have a lack of something on the inside, it will not get filled from the outside. Mm-hmm. So they need to tackle that issue, understand why they feel the way they feel, and kind of heal that trauma that they don't know exists, but it's there. Mm-hmm. So these are signs that is telling the human body or the human person that you're lacking something. You need to fix this.
Yeah.
But instead, they don't focus on that as a message. They focus on, how am I going to please? So it becomes an addiction.
It is.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's external validation.
Yeah. For an internal void that can't be filled externally. It's not possible. All these voids can only be filled in with yourself, and they're impacted by your childhood. How you were raised, whether your parents neglected you or not, whether they were aggressive with you or not, or whether you were bullied in school or not. All these play a big role.
And it's even, again, if you were to look at parents, if you are seeing, for example, your mother or your father struggle with boundary issues.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't have to be even as severe as like trauma. I think just simply boundary issues from a parent. If you grew up with your mom, said yes to everything, she was just martyr mother, everything at her detriment, chances are this is probably what's going to happen when you become a parent and you're run down to the ground, exhausted.
Not only parents,
anybody.
You become that as a character.
Anybody.
You start saying yes because my mom said yes to
absolutely
everything.
That was the correct way to do it.
That was
it's the positive can do yes attitude. At what cost?
At your cost.
Yeah. You're the only one that has to go home depleted at the end of the day and
this
deal
is what
with
people need to understand. It is always at your cost. Yeah. So is it worth it? That's the question.
So if you could sort of snap your fingers and change one sort of deeply ingrained societal expectation when it comes to boundaries or saying no or advocating for yourself, what would it be?
Oh, one?
Well, do we have more time?
Have like 10 episodes. One thing for boundaries. I would just say think of yourself. Just think of yourself, because really it sums it up. The minute you think of yourself and you check in basically with yourself. You ask yourself, is this what I want? And you feel something, an emotion pops up. So your emotions are there for you to listen. And whether you feel that gut feeling that says no, then no. And if you feel that relaxation and say, no, it's okay, it's quite nice actually, let's do that, I like this person, let's help. Go for it. So listen to your gut feeling if you want, and check in with yourself.
I love that, because again, in a world that's so fast-paced, that's fully driven by every bit of information we have on our phones, and we are in constant demand to be efficient and productive. There's no scope for listening to your gut.
Yeah.
There's so much distraction, and it's always that this ability to know internally that yes or no, but I feel like we've just lost the capability because of the constant information overload. No, this is going to be good for me, so I'm going to say yes. No, this is the way it's supposed to be. Online, I saw this email came in, I'm going to push through. All of that noise. But then if you sort of take it away and prioritize listening to your gut, if all of society has done that, then we could potentially be making better decisions.
Of course, because we're in the right state of mind.
Mm.
And the peace, calm state of mind. You see clearer. You think better.
Mm.
It's not about how much you have or how much you do. It's about how you feel when you do it, and how you feel with what you have already. Gratitude.
Yeah.
So that plays the biggest role.
Absolutely. Boundaries with relationships, romantic relationships.
Yeah, they're important as well.
Hard.
I mean, again, a romantic relationship between a man and a woman, it wouldn't be defined as hard if it was built correctly.
Yeah.
From ground, like from the beginning. So if you look at it like a business, a partnership, if when they open up a company together, the contract is there, they know each person's role, they know what they're doing. I'm talking about a business here. And you see them growing fine, and the business grows. Along the way, the partners might, disagree on points and might fight a few times, but then their main core focus is to get that business to succeed.
Absolutely.
Now, when it comes to romantic relationships, if from the beginning, their main core focus is to keep the love alive, as opposed to, I don't like what you're doing, I don't like this, I don't like that, pointing fingers and blaming.